Welcome to the Climb Your Everest podcast, a platform where we delve into the incredible stories of women who have triumphed over their personal challenges and are making a profound impact on the world. I'm your host, Sarah Safari, and I'm honored to be the founder of Climb Your Everest, a nonprofit organization passionately committed to offering education and empowerment opportunities to marginalized women, enabling them to unleash their true potential. Joining me as a co-host on this exciting journey is Avi. Together, we are on a mission to bring you inspiring narratives that will uplift your spirit, ignite your passion, and motivate you to climb your own Everest. Hi, Avi.
Hi, Sarah. All right, so today we're going to talk about the Nepali girls and their challenges, but can you start from the earthquake and tell us about what happened on the mountain? How did it impact you? And how did that earthquake impact the Nepali girls?
Yeah, so in 2015, when I attempting to summit Everest for the first time, I promised Empower Nepali Girls organization that I raise $1 per foot of Everest. So I was supposed to raise $29,000 to provide for the girls to continue their education. And I was extremely motivated, inspired. I met the girls. I was so happy. And I was taking the banner to the top of the world. And when we were at 20,000 feet in Khumbu Icefall, which is the most dangerous and the most beautiful part of Everest, where it's a glacier, Google, like it actually in Netflix documentary, they did an amazing job capturing how beautiful Khumbu Icefall is. I was at 20,000 feet climbing a wall, an ice wall, which was like, I don't know, 30, 40 feet. And I was climbing, I was on a ladder. There were 5 ladders connected to each other. And I was on top of the 5th ladder, kind of passing the edge where the whole wall started shaking left and right and left and right. And I'm not exaggerating. It was the scariest thing I've ever experienced in my life. And so it's kind of, it took me some time to even figure out that this is an earthquake and how is this even possible? How unlucky a person could be to end up in this sort of a scenario, this sort of a situation. And I didn't know if this is just an Everest thing or this is only happening on Everest or it's much bigger. But coming from California and kind of feeling these horizontal movements, I could tell that this is an earthquake. So everything started breaking down. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't see anything. I was gasping for air. And I was trying to kick my feet to the wall to make sure I'm fixed on the wall. But at one point I thought, there is no way to survive this. The avalanche is coming probably, and it's gonna hit me and I'm gonna fall down the mountain, fall into a crevasse, and nobody can ever find my body. I was extremely scared. Like the movies I saw my whole life in front of me. I could hear noises like a rocket is taking off. Like, have you heard like when the planes take off, it makes such a loud noise? The noises of ice breaking down, like ice towers breaking down. This is how it sounded like. It was really loud and scary. And you know, at the one point I thought, this is it. These are my last moments. And
that must have been scary. I can't even imagine.
And then, well, in the next 8 days, we got rescued, and that's another story by itself. But we got very lucky, extremely lucky. A helicopter came to rescue us, and we finally end up going down to the mountain. But first, we had no idea that if we are gonna get rescued and how long that's gonna take. There were aftershocks and more avalanches, and then finally,
what was going through your mind in that moment? I know you said that you didn't think you're going to survive, but after, let's say, after the actual earthquake, when the aftershocks were coming, like what was going through your mind? Were you thinking about the girls?
I was extremely, because at that point we heard over the radio that this is not just Everest, this is whole Nepal. And they were asking like what's happening, and we could hear the news as like, first they said they think like 700 people lost their lives, and then the number kept increasing, and it went all the way to 10,000. So it's every day the numbers kept increasing, and just like hearing the devastation, hearing the villages, hearing about the landslides, it was very scary just hearing it every day. And then eventually when the helicopter took us from Camp 1, where we ended up staying because we couldn't go down the Khumbu Icefall, because Khumbu Icefall had like 50, that in 2015 there were like 50 ladders, horizontal, vertical, 45 degrees over crevasses. And crevasses are these deep icy valleys that you can't even see the bottom. So we had to cross all these ladders to get to Camp 1, which is kind of the first camp after base camp. So the most dangerous part of Everest is just the beginning of it. And the whole time, to answer your question, the whole time I was thinking, what's happening to the girls? Where are they? Like, did they survive this? How about their family? Like, and then I was extremely angry at the same time, because I thought I just raised money for the girls to continue their education, but I don't even know how they are, where they are, how they are doing it. And I was angry, upset. I just felt like that I such a big failure. I was angry that, you know, and then at the same time, guilt feeling, the survivors get guilt feeling of so many people lost their lives, and I'm somehow in the middle of this wall and crazy avalanches and earthquake. I survived this, and I couldn't believe it, first of all. And that's why in the past episode I mentioned this was a trigger for me to this was a second life for me. That's why I decided to dedicate my life to women's empowerment and kind of doing this, because I really thought this is a gift. I was not supposed to survive it. And if I survived it, I really need to do something really good with my second life. And so that's
I'm getting goosebumps as you talk about the second chance and the second life that you're getting. So
yeah, and so basically we came down the mountain after the rescue took such a long time, because we had to kind of go through the villages. We couldn't walk down the mountain, the same villages that I walked up the mountain. So Empower Nepali Girls organization has scholarship girls, which they live in Everest region alongside the mountain. So as you hike up to the Everest base camp, you meet these amazing women, girls who are living there, and they are going to school. And so kind of as I was hiking up to Everest base camp, as you know, Everest climbing takes 60 days, but it only takes 7 days to the base camp. And those 7 days you go up different villages, and in those villages people are living in high elevations, and there are schools, and people are kind of going to schools. And so I met these girls alongside as I was hiking up to Everest base camp, and I'm worried for them because I didn't know what happened to them. And I'm worried for the girls who are living in all the other cities and towns and villages, and I'm thinking about them this whole time. But then thankfully they were all okay, actually. I mean, maybe we had some broken arms and small injuries. They lost their homes, their belongings. Some lost family members, but they were all okay. And by now, we all built back their homes and their schools, and now they're continuing their education and they are fine. But back then it was very devastating. So I went down the mountain after 8 days. So the first day that I really saw the girls, after the earthquake was day 9. So it was 9 days and nights that they've been living outside their homes on dirt, not having access to restroom, regular food, no place to sleep. And it was just so sad. And it was actually very inspiring to me, seeing them, how they were so resilient. They kind of kept it together. They're so strong and so powerful. They showed me the place they were sleeping, and I was kind of running around trying to buy them some food and some blankets so that they can actually kind of survive the next few days. And then Empower Nepali Girls organization went, we had sent a group of doctors to go back to Nepal to kind of visit the girls, make sure they're okay. And we did like crazy fundraising after that. I remember my whole life became about fundraising. I kept asking people, what are some of the effective ways to do fundraising? Because I'm learning how to be better at it. Because again, that was something new for me. It's like I'd never raised any money all my life.
Yeah. So you said something about, you had survival guilt, that, you survived on the mountain, many didn't. Maybe in the villages, same thing. I just want to, I can relate to that with the whole Iran women life freedom, that, for those of us who are living abroad, feel that survival guilt, that, we are here, yet our brothers and sisters are suffering in Iran. So at what point did you go back to, or did you come back to the US, and did you know that, okay, I'm going to go back? How was your family's reaction to that?
They didn't like it. They didn't like it at all. I mean, first I was extremely traumatized myself. Every little movement anywhere, any loud noise reminded me of the earthquake. So I was not in the right place myself. I found myself like crying randomly and just being scared of everything, and being scared of any mountains or any elevation or any moving thing. I was very traumatized. I didn't want to go back mountain climbing. So when my family said, never ever mention mountain climbing for the rest of your life, at first I was okay with it until I recovered and went back. But at the beginning, it was very difficult for me. Even like kind of going back to the gym and working out, that reminded me of training for Everest. So at the beginning, it was extremely difficult. And my family didn't share with me what they went through, because they saw how impacted I am. And it was funny because my birthday was kind of couple of months after I came back from Everest, and my mom made a cake for me. She likes making cakes, and she made a cake for me of a mountain. And so the kind of to celebrate my birthday, and she put a flag of Empower Nepali Girls on top of the Everest mountain that she built. And she told me, Sarah, you don't have to ever go back and climb Everest. For us, you've already summited Everest. For us, you already put the flag of Empower Nepali Girls on top of the mountain. For us, you already empowered a lot of people coming from your background and coming from zero experience. You made it, you went there, and you kind of survived it. And I think you don't have to ever go back to any mountain to prove anything to us. You proved your courage and your resilience and your strength. And it was very emotional because I didn't want to, negatively impact my family.
I'm getting emotional you talking about it. I know.
It's funny because I shared this story so many times on so many stages, and now I just remembering these moments and how big each moment was, how big they were. And so for a while, to answer your question, for a while I tried to forget about mountains. I didn't want to go back.
But you were still fundraising, and that kind of became the mission of your life, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I could see how, and when the earthquake happened, and I figured there are no other Iranians who have done the 7 summits. And I thought, if I want to empower and inspire others, this is what I'm preaching. I tell others I want to empower. I need to walk the talk. So I need to do something that is different and new, and there's no other person who has done it, which is, for an Iranian person, was doing the 7 summit as the first. And so I kind of promised to climb the 7 highest peaks on 7 continents for 7 nonprofit organizations for empowering women, and raising funds for each one of them based on the elevation. And that became my project. And so the earthquake gave me the access to continue the work of empowerment and inspiring others by leading the way, by kind of climbing the 7 summits, and kind of learning and doing things that I've never done before. And at the same time, asking the women that I was working with, the girls that I worked with, to do something impossible for themselves, for their lives, which was continuing their education. Because there's no one else, no other woman in their lives who have ever continued their education. And by breaking barriers and pursuing my dream, I wanted to inspire them to pursue their dreams, and proving to their families, to their communities, to their people that they are capable of everything.
Yeah, so that's pretty powerful. I do want to dive into kind of these girls' dreams, and how education can help them and can help their communities. Is there anything you can share on that end before we wrap this episode up?
I always wanted to be a role model. Like, as an older sister with 2 younger sisters, I guess I wanted to be the role model for them by doing something out of my comfort zone, because I was asking them to do something out of their comfort zone. And I think education is a very powerful tool for them to be able to take their life to the next level. And it is my hope and my dream that these courageous girls will pave the way for the brighter future for themselves, for their siblings, for their little sisters and neighbors and niece and nephews, and bring opportunities for themselves, and bring equality for themselves, equal opportunities for them and women eventually who are living in their community and their country.
Thanks, Sarah. So in the next episode, let's open up your visit back to Nepal and some of your home visits, and share those stories.
Sounds good.
All right.
At Climb Your Everest, our mission is to provide access to education and resources to marginalized women, so that they can gain the skills and knowledge they need to succeed in their lives and communities. But we can't do it without your help. 100% of your donation is tax deductible and will go directly towards funding our programs, including scholarships, educational material, and mentorship. So please visit our website, climbyoureverest.org, and make a donation today. Every little bit helps. It costs $25 to sponsor one girl to participate in empowerment workshops for a month. If you are interested, please contact me at sarah@climbyoureverest.org. And together, we can empower marginalized women to climb their own personal Everest. Thank you for your support.